their houses. They had settlements where they found places where they used to cook, they used to live. They had proper drainage system. They made the houses with terracotta, burnt bricks. So they had the technology for that, and they identified that place. Goes back at least about 3,000 years before Jesus Christ. Okay, 3,000, at least about like 3,000 millennium BC. So we found that place, and it was called Indus Valley Civilization because of the river flowing from this area. Through the border here, that river is called Indus. Indus, from which the word India originates. Okay, but the traditional name of this river, or what people used to call this river, was Sindhu. Sindhu, Sindhu. Sindhu was the original name of the river, and perhaps the people who lived on the banks of the river, their way of life was called Hindu, and perhaps the word Hinduism originated from that. So their way of life became a practice, and that became one of the religion, one of the earliest or oldest religion in the world. And the Indus people, they were also traders. We found a lot of, like seals and all that used in those days, and wooden articles which was built out of the teak wood, which is grown on the western coast here and also here, where the teak was grown mostly on this area. So that shows that they have been trading from here through this area, and they have gone through the Indus Valley, then went into Silk Road, and then the trade continued to different parts of the world. So they had a proper trading land or trading route through that place. So and then we believe that because some other people who were the nomads, they happened to come that area around 1500 BC, might have destroyed that civilization, or probably the people who could not actually go well with this migrated people, they would have left this place and came down to southern India. So it was actually a lost civilization. When it was found, it was all buried in the sand, and then the people they excavated this place and they found this beautiful civilization. But probably we don't know why and what caused the end of that civilization. It could be either an invasion, or it could be of natural reasons. So, and these people who migrated to this area in 1500 BC, we believe that they were Aryans, and Aryans were the people who looked completely different. They were the people who have moved out from West Asia to different parts of the world because of the overpopulation, as they wanted to move out from there, and they went to different parts of the world. And Aryans actually came on horse. But the people who lived here in this valley, they never seen the horse, and they were more pastoral. Aryans were more pastoral. They were like completely different people. They were tall and fair-skinned. So they came with a language called Sanskrit, which is Indo-European language, and they came with that language, and then they brought this language to our country, Sanskrit. Whereas the people who lived in this valley, they had followed Dravidian language, and we believe the oldest Dravidian language is Tamil, which is spoken in Tamil Nadu. Tamil is considered to be at least 5,000 years old language, which is having one of the ancient scripts in the southern Indian scripts. And so the Sanskrit was brought, and then the Aryans who came, they started with a system in the society where they wanted to divide the people on different levels, which later came to be known as caste system, so that people were divided into different levels according to the job, or maybe according to the color of the skin. So that actually changed the society, or maybe it affected the society very badly, because caste system, when it became more, started, becoming very aggressive, like the people belonging to higher caste thought they were the superior to anyone. that caused a lot of discrimination in the society. And that is one reason that when people were divided into different levels or different castes, so people belonging to the lower castes, they wanted to come out of this. They wanted to be a human being, and they don't want to be like treated as inferior people. So they were thinking of coming out of this, and they had no one to show their path. And that's when the new religions started in our country, called Buddhism and Jainism. The Buddhism and Jainism, they started almost at the same time, like around 540 BC. It was started by two different prophets, Buddha and then Mahavir for Buddhism, for Jain religion. So these religions started with the concept of having equality. So they did not think about caste discrimination or anything. They believed everyone is equal. So a lot of people converted into that, these two religions. So starting from 540 BC for another 1000 years up to about 500 AD, there was a lot of conversion into Buddhism and Jainism. So Hinduism was affected and very badly, and then many people didn't want to follow the caste system. They came into Buddhism and Jainism. So that is one reason some of the kings realized that Hinduism is going to die. They started building with more temples. So you will see that most of the temples, even in Mahabalipuram, they started building from 6th to 16th century. Another 1000 years, there was a complete construction of the temples all over the country to bring back the Hinduism. So that's all it happened in our country. And at present, in our country, if we talk about the total population, out of the total population, nearly 80% are Hindus. 80% are Hindus. And then we have the second largest religion is Islam, which is about 14% of the total country. 14%. Then the third largest is, of course, Christian, which is, the third largest is Sikh religion. Sikh, the people who have turban, the Sikh, they're about 7%. Then we have Christians who are something like 2 to 3%. Then we have Buddhists, Jains, Zoroastrians, Judaism. So it's a country with all these different religions. So one reason of India having different religions is basically because of this caste system. Because some people wanted to come out of that, they need to be, they don't want to follow this. They converted into other religions. So India is a country with a lot of these diversity, and in terms of religion, caste, in terms of language, food habits, the way of wearing dress, even the sari can be worn in different ways in different states. They have different styles. So that all includes our country. So we always say that it's a country, unity in diversity. Okay, unity in diversity, secular democratic country. And this caste system actually involves 4 main castes. The highest one is called Brahmin. They were always the priest class. In fact, they were the learned caste. This is college here on the left side. Yeah, and when we go to the temples, you see them, the priest usually wearing a holy thread on their shoulder. That's how you can identify them. They will have a holy thread on the shoulder, which is they wear it when they have the initiation ceremony. Like you have baptism. Among the Brahmins, when the kid gets 8-year-old, that is when they have this ceremony, so that they become a Brahmin. So they put this holy thread, and they will be wearing it all their lifetime. Okay, so traditionally there were the priests in the temples, and there were also the people who would have the highest respect in the court of a king. They were the Brahmins. And then the second caste were called Kshatriya. Kshatriya were the people who were warriors. All the kings, all the rulers, they belong to the Kshatriya caste. Okay, and so they are the second one. Then the third one were the Vaishyas. Vaishyas are the traders. This is a medical college hospital on the left side. Okay, this is a main hospital in the town. Even in Mahabalipuram, somebody wants to come to a big hospital, this is the one under the state government. So treatment is free. It depends on which income group you belong to. If you are higher income group, you have to pay for some, but if you're lower income group, you don't pay, and it's absolutely free. So they have an inpatient section also. They will have at least 250 beds minimum. So that's the minimum bed required to be qualified as a medical college. It's also it's a treatment place as well as a college. So to become the doctors. So so the Vaishyas were the traders, and all the money lenders, traders, businessmen, they all belong to this. Okay, and then the fourth one is called Shudra. Shudras were the people mostly working class, like carpenters, people who are into construction, people who are into goldsmith, blacksmith, ironsmith, like all those people belong to that one. They are the working class. So by birth I'm a Shudra. I was born in the Shudra caste by birth, because our traditional occupation was making jewelry. my grandfather was a goldsmith, but my father went to school and he got a proper education, so he got into government service, and my mother as well. So that we were lucky to get enough education, and they wanted their kids to be educated, and we all got proper education. So and then apart from this folk caste, there were other section of people. They're called untouchables. You have heard this word, untouchable? Yes. We won't use that word. Dalits. Yeah, Dalits. We don't use that word anymore, untouchable, but I use the word so you can easily understand. There is another word for them, is called Dalit. Dalit. And only by by that name you can address them. And Mahatma Gandhi, he called them by another word called Harijan. Harijan. Hari means God and Jan means people. So he wanted to make them understand that you are also sons of the God. Yeah. So you're not, people should be discriminated. To give them a mental support, he called them Harijan. And so these were the people who were really badly treated. They were not even treated as human beings. And all the dirty jobs were done by them. Even now, if you look at any human scavenger, people who is doing the, all the drainage system and all that, they are mostly belong to this caste. Nobody else come into that job. So we still have that. Though we are going into missionaries, but you will still find these people working in these dirty places. In fact, the people who worked in the cremation grounds, they were all belonging to this caste. So these people had a very terrible life. I'm talking just about 100 years back, not too far from now. When the people have become civilized, they became having into modern life. Still, these people had a very bad life. In fact, they were badly treated. Even British did not pay attention to their life, because British believed in divide and rule policy. So in that way, it was good for them that country was completely divided in this way, in terms of language, in terms of religion and caste, so that people never unite against the British rule. So that was good for them. But only recently, the entire country united because of principles of Mahatma Gandhi, principles of non-violence, which brought them all together and caused the independence. But there are also other reasons. We had all the different national leaders who actually contributed to the independence of the country. But Mahatma Gandhi is a great leader. And but then after independence, their life improved, because when we had the first constitution, which was written, that's something really commendable, because our constitution of the country was written in 1950, and it was written by a Dalit. It was written by a Dalit, a Harijan. His name is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar. He was a lucky guy who were able to go to London to do his studies, and he became a lawyer. And he came back, and he was given the responsibility to write the constitution of the country. So they provided, a provision. They provided a section, especially to these lower caste people, so that these people are taken care, and they get some reservations into government jobs and education. And it is still following. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Schedule. They come under a schedule, under a law, a particular law, for scheduled caste and tribes who lives on the mountains as well. So they also were treated badly. So they also get some benefits from the government. So it is still followed, and I'm proud to say that one of our president of the country, the first one of the president, he is from the Dalit caste, and his name is K.R. Narayan. He was the president of the country, and the present president now, she is from a very remote tribal village in northeastern India. The lady, she is from this area, from northeastern side. So she is one of the she represents the tribal community on the hills. But she is educated. She was a teacher, and she became the president of the country now. Yeah, this is one river called Palar. Probably it was very wide. You can see that the river was probably very wide, and maybe the climate is affected, so it's not flowing in its full capacity. I think when it was not. I think when the whole continents, started moving out from the main continent, Gondwana land, Sri Lanka was separated then. So I think maybe millions and millions of years back. Okay, now we are almost near to the main highway. We'll be joining the main highway very soon, and then we continue our drive.